Eat big to get big, baby. Doesn't matter what you eat, you gotta eat.
Dirty bulking is just flat out stupid.
Because you need to know that this happens to way more people than you think.
Bulking is an absolute staple in the gym community, but sometimes it can actually go too far where you end up putting on so much extra body fat that it ruins your physique and your health. So these are a bunch of figures in the fitness scene who took bulking way too far. Let's start off small with fitness model Jeff Seid, who basically took the industry by storm when he came onto the scene in 2015. With his cis-like persona and lean physique, obviously the hair played some role, but after 2020, Jeff took a longer break from social media. He wasn't posting as frequently, and some people thought that he had just completely left social media forever. But in 2022, he suddenly shocked the fitness scene after posting pictures of himself looking much fluffier than usual, which was weird considering nobody had really ever seen him dip below 10% body fat before. Jeff claimed that the cause of his weight gain was a strategy called dirty bulking, which basically means you don't bother tracking your food, just ensure you get enough protein and maintain a large calorie surplus, which honestly has worked for other bodybuilders in the past. However, Jeff only gained a few kilos of body fat and he didn't exactly look fat by any means when his so-called peak bulk is leaner than most people's average summer cut. So Jeff can't really compare to the other guys in this video, like Lee Priest. Yes, this guy placed top 6 at the Olympia in his prime and was particularly known for bulking up to insane sizes before slimming down for contest prep. Some of you may have even seen his insane transformations, and standing at only 5'4" with insanely round muscle bellies, Lee looked absolutely otherworldly when he bulked up, sometimes getting up to 25 and even 30% body fat in the process, which is one step further than virtually all of his competitors at the time, even Jay Cutler, who went semi-viral with this picture showing his supposed peak off-season shape. Although what you may not know is that this picture is actually photoshopped and that this is what Jay actually looked like. No wait, no. This is what he actually looked like. However, many other IFBB pros liked bulking to insane lengths in the off-season, with the goal of ending up like a Greek god. 6-time Mr. Olympia Dorian Yates wasn't exactly known for taking the lean approach during his off-season, as you can see during some of his guest postings in the mid-1990s. He was, after all, the first true mass monster to also showcase his tremendous size off-season. Or was he? You see, the man standing behind him here is one of the biggest what-ifs in bodybuilding history. A man most people remember for one thing: size. Mr. Big, also going by his actual name Victor Richards, was perhaps the biggest bodybuilder of the 1980s and 1990s. But he competed so rarely that almost nobody knows who he is today. Richards is perhaps one of the biggest genetic outliers of his era, having an insanely impressive physique as only a teenager, and he didn't even start taking PEDs until age 19. But Richards, even though he was bigger than virtually everyone in his era, he never really got stage lean, although he would tend to blow up in the off-season, getting closer to 350 pounds, standing at 5'10". And during guest postings like this one from 1994, he would outmuscle virtually anyone, including Dorian and even guys like Paul Dillette and Kevin Levrone. Although Richards was perhaps the biggest bodybuilder of the 1990s for his height, there was one other dude in the same era who would get up to an insane 420 pounds in the off-season and compete at around 330. Standing at 6'4" or around 193 centimeters, which is pretty darn tall for a competitive bodybuilder, Greg Kovacs may be the biggest IFBB pro to ever live. This guy would absolutely dwarf anyone on stage alongside him, and even more once he bulked up during the off-season, as you can see here in this picture, together with 4-time Mr. Olympia Jay Cutler. And getting up to 420 pounds in the off-season, Kovacs was incredibly strong, being rumored to have a 600-pound bench and closer to a 900-pound deadlift. Although none of these apparent max-outs were ever actually confirmed on camera, Kovacs' insane size would end up taking a tremendous toll on his body, which over time led to his heart giving out on him in 2013 at only 44 years of age, which, truth to be told, has also been the case for several mass monsters throughout, like Nasser El-Somebody and a more modern case with Dallas McCarver. So it goes to show that in the setting of massive amounts of PEDs, getting insanely huge isn't exactly healthy, if that wasn't already obvious. Many of these guys, especially Greg Kovacs, even saw severe symptoms of palumboism, which is basically when the arms and legs shrink and the torso and the gut expands dramatically in comparison. However, possibly the worst case of said palumboism to date is somebody in the fitness industry that we are quite familiar with: the Delray Misfits' own Big Lenny. Some of you may remember videos of him hanging around and training with Jason Genova, who also took the bulk way too far with his antics. But Big Lenny was always the star of the show with his super physiological gut personality, and some of you may know that he is in fact known as the Tom Platz of abs. Lenny also used to be quite big in the off-season, having an insane 3D physique, even the ice.
The perfect thing to do before workout is to get on your hands and knees in the men's room and lick the floor.
Another lesser-known bodybuilder who went above and beyond in the off-season is Trey Brewer. Some of you have maybe seen older pictures of this man at expos or in magazines, but Trey Brewer used to be an upcoming contender potentially for the Olympia title. And this dude looked impressive as hell when he was in stage condition. However, Trey would often put up over 100 pounds on extra body fat in the off-season, leading to him looking like this at the very peak of his bulk. And because he had to lose so much excess body fat for every show prep, he became burnt out. Basically, he had to be in a calorie deficit for so long that his body eventually gave out. And he ended up slowly losing muscle every time he did, and he also ended up retiring very early because of that. But one guy even went above and beyond all of these and took the bulk way too seriously, way too far, and it very well may have ended his life in the process. The guy would religiously eat junk, not track his macros, and balloon up to insane proportions in the off-season. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you me. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the videos and want to see more like them, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind later on. Check out my two sponsors over at Gymshark and Rice Supplements, linked in the description, and if you use the code BACK at checkout, you'll get a pretty decent discount. I will see you all next time.